so beautiful. Really, Brad, that was so beautiful. You know, I had an experience this week where I went to my children's school, and they were doing what was called a scene day, and I went to their school, and you just reminded me of this because, you know, I can only imagine that your father, just thinking of you so many years later, singing and standing in your father's steps, what he used to do, and so brilliantly. So this week, I go to my kid's school, and both Will and Nora are doing this one scene, and I'm sitting there, and Will's like, when we get up and we get out on the wall, grab the camera, I want you to film this. I was like, all right. So I have the camera, and all of a sudden, Cool from West Side Story starts to play. And there they are, pinned up against the wall, and they start going, crazy, cool, go. And then they do the dance of West Side Story. And I stood there. The camera's just, it's a mess. The camera's like, so I'm sorry they won't see a very good thing of themselves. But I stood there, and I had that same feeling just now with you. I stood there going, who would have thought at 25 on Broadway doing that number, someday I'd be standing in a schoolroom watching my child do it better than I did it. It's just great. So Brad, thank you for that. That was a moment in time that, yeah. That really was something that I will always remember at this center. So, without a song, the day would never end. Without a song, the road would never bend. When things go wrong, a man ain't got a friend without a song. A man is born, and he's no good without a song. So we're talking about a song. That's what the song is about. Without a song. So we're really talking about a song. What is a song? Music. It's the beat. It's energy. It's life. It's love. It's the creative essence. It's the life force. Without a song. It's a metaphor. This song is a metaphor for everything that we are, everything that the universe is. But what it's a metaphor for is that thing that's underneath it all. It's a metaphor for God. It's a metaphor for whatever your personal relationship is, what your personal understanding is of God. That's what this song is about. Without that, whatever that is to you, without that, he's no good, no how. Without God. So my question this morning to us is, without God, who are we? Who are we? This is coming up in CPR right now, in Core Prosperity Relief. If I am not God, who am I? This week, as you heard, my students took their test for 300, and their tests came back. And they did all score between, actually it was a 95, because they all got an extra point for something they all got right that the person grading this test didn't seem to know. So, between 95 and 99. But what really happened this week was all of us in the education department of Centers for Spiritual Living had an opportunity to take a look at what we're teaching. And to take a look at how authentic is what we are teaching, how right is it, how clear is it, how open is it to expansion. And I have to say that my students, these 8 students really exemplify this teaching. And they really exemplify the last 20 years of my understanding this teaching because they are living the science of mind from a perspective of being open at the top, which is what Ernest Holmes meant to create, being open at the top. So, open at the top. So, this week I was in conversation with some of our ministers in the field, and one of the ministers said to me, because one of my students said, I am God in her treatment. And one of the ministers said to me, you know, James, you really shouldn't teach your students that they're God. I almost did a backflip. I said, what would you like me to teach them? She said, well, that they're a part of God. They're just a part of God. They're one little part. They're just this little part of that big thing called God. And I had to take a deep breath. And I said, well, let me just tell you this. That's not what I do teach my students. I will never teach my students that, and I will never live my life thinking that. I think I said it a little calmer. I said, I must be able to stand in the truth of I am God. Inherent in that is that I am not all of God. I don't care that I'm not all of God. All of me is God. Right? And that's who we are. So that's what I want to talk to you about today. To the degree that we think we are not God, to that degree will we think that others are not God. And now we see how the world gets in so much trouble. Because we do not know how to walk this earth as God, seeing God, and therefore respecting everyone and loving everyone. And then, yeah. And frankly, you know what that's just another name for? That is just another name for duality. Anytime I hear duality, I am like this pit bull when it comes to duality. When I hear, although pit bulls are nice, I don't want to continue that wrong thinking. But I am really like a dog on a bone. That's better. When I hear duality, I am at it. And I hear it in so much. And even in saying, I am a small part of God, is duality. It's a dualistic thinking because it comes from a mind that is still struggling to hold on to a lesser idea of themselves. There is God, and everything else is just a lie. That's the truth. There is God, and everything else is just a lie. The problem is that we live in a world where so many people think that there is God and everything else. But what is there? What if we went through our lives really believing there is only God? We say it every Sunday, don't we? All there is God. I see God in everything. Everything kind of means everything. Everything doesn't mean I see God in everything, not her. Right? And unfortunately, I think we do that sometimes. And you know what? The worst one is, I see God in everything. Just I have a hard time seeing it in myself. Not me. That's not me. I'm talking about you. So, I'm talking... Oh my God. Okay. I'm talking about those of you that still feel that way. So, you won't after this talk. So, Emma Curtis Hopkins, brilliant little woman with a pillpox hat. She was great. She said, there is one indestructible substance pervading all things from the remotest star to the nearest dust particle. There is one indestructible substance pervading all things from the remotest star to the nearest dust particle. And of course, what we know today is that dust particle is made up of billions and billions and billions of particles, of subatomic particles. And it's all God. It has to be all God. I have to know that God is everywhere, everything, and I got to include myself in that. And you have to include yourself in that. And anything that takes you away from including yourself in that is a lie. Anything that takes you away from knowing that you are perfect as you are is a lie. Frankly, it's just conditions. It's just facts. And the facts aren't the truth. The facts are just what you've made of the truth. And it's time for us to make some better things. In the Psalm 46, verse 10, it says, "Be still and know that I am God." Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. I don't believe God's talking to himself or herself or itself. It's for you and I to say, be still and know that I am God. I am God. Jesus did not say, I and the Father are one. But not all of the Father. Let me be perfectly clear. I don't want to offend anyone. I didn't catch that phrase in the Bible. He said, I and the Father are one. Get with it. And I really think he meant that. I and the Father are one. Let's take that. Let's move from that. Let's take that and dive off from that. I and the Father are one. Clearly, Jesus was not concerned with offending people with truth, nor am I. We cannot be willing, thank you, we cannot fear offending people in standing in our truth. We cannot play small so someone else feels okay about their limited self. It is up to you, it is up to me, to stand in the truth of who we are. I am God, and as God, everything's possible. Show the world that, as Ernest Holmes said. Just give me one man who proves this teaching. One man or woman who proves this teaching. Give me one divine human creature that proves this teaching, that steps into the I am God, and things will shift. And I can tell you, every single person in this room is in the process of making that shift. I am that which thou art, and so are you. In CPR this week, I'm loving doing this. Every day I have to. I spend 15 minutes just knowing the truth. And every single day. And the next day is something else. And the next day is something else. And one of the things that came up this week was, that came through me was, I am is a complete sentence. I can live in the I am. I don't have to spend my life trying to figure out what comes after that. If I am God, it doesn't matter what comes after that. That's just the smorgasbord of life that I get to choose from. I am is a complete sentence. When I was on the committee to run the conference in Chicago, one of the ideas that I came up with, that Reverend Keith Cox and I talked about, but that I had pitched to the committee, was bringing RuPaul in as a guest speaker. Yeah, I know. And it wasn't met very well, but I suggested that RuPaul should be one of our speakers, because RuPaul stands for freedom. RuPaul stands for standing in his truth. RuPaul stands for allowing whatever comes up to come up in so many different ways. And in his show, he says this is his kind of thing. He says, if you don't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love someone else? Now, just ask yourself that question. If you don't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love someone else? And I'd like to add to that, or I'd like to change that a little bit too. If you don't know yourself, how in the hell are you going to know someone else? How are you going to know who everybody else is when you don't know who you are? If I don't know that I am God, really know it, I can't see God in you, because I don't know it. If I see myself in others, then it's up to me to see the best in me so that I can pass that along to others. That's our job. The title of my talk today is The 5 G's. Goodness of God, gladly giving its greatness, is not what this talk is about. It's what someone said they thought it was. They went, I got it. Goodness of God, gladly giving its greatness. And I was like, well, that's really cool. It's not it. And then not only Ellen, but a number of my practitioners came up to me and wondered if I was going to talk about the G-spot. And thank you, Ellen, for covering that for me. And I did assure them, and here's what's funny, I assured them that somewhere in this service today, the G-spot would be brought up. So thank you. So really this came because Curtis C. Jackson was in my office this week, and he said something to me, and I was on my computer, and as he said it, I turned to him and I went, oh my God, that's what I want to talk about. And it's this. Here are the 5 G's. Good God, girl, get a grip. Good God, girl, get a grip. And it was something that he had heard on RuPaul's Drag Race. One of the drag queens said it. Well, I felt like I had heard the most spiritual thing I'd ever heard. It was like perfect, and I would like to revamp it today to fit my needs. I'm going to change the words around a little bit, and here's how I hear it spiritually. Girl, get a grip. Good God. Girl, get a grip. Good God. Doesn't that work? It does. RuPaul also said this, which I love. We all come into this world naked. The rest is all drag. So today, in my minister drag, I would like to talk about you knowing who you are and living who you are. And that means you knowing that you are God and living that you are God. Really living that you are God. And I have to tell you, it's not easy for me to express this as clearly and as vividly and as passionately as I feel it. Because I feel it so strongly. And this morning when Jill Johnson did the meditation, she led me in so beautifully. I just sat there and I went, this is what it feels to be God. This is what it is to know that I am God. Because nothing else was in my mind. I did not give myself the benefit of thinking about anything other than that. And from there, I just felt great. I felt great. You know, this morning, as I was driving here, I walked out of my house and it was raining. I ran in, got an umbrella, came out and got in the car. And I like the rain. I did think for myself for a moment, oh, it's a little gloomy out today. I went, that's okay. I'm not gloomy. It can be gloomy. I'm not gloomy. I got in the car, I drove here. I got on the freeway, and as I was edging along the freeway, all of a sudden I went into sunlight. Anybody else have that experience? So it was raining, and then all of a sudden it became sunlight. I look in my rearview mirror, and it's raining behind me. And I'm thinking, wow, look at that. I am staying ahead of the rain. I am in the sunshine. I am awesome. This is what it is to know that you are God. And as I'm driving and looking in my rearview mirror and noticing that the rain is still approaching from behind, all of a sudden I heard, no, that's not what it is to know that you are God. What it is to know that you are God is to come rain or shine, I am one with all of the elements. And I was like, I don't want to spend my life trying to stay ahead of, you know what that's like? Trying to stay ahead of life's conditions. I don't want to keep trying to race myself. I don't want to be in a big drag race, trying to race myself and stay ahead of the clouds. What's wrong with the clouds? What's wrong with the rain? What's wrong with our life's conditions? What is wrong with any experience that should ever show up in front of us if we're willing to know who we are? Nothing. Conditions mean nothing when you know who you are. Girl, get a grip. Good God. CPR, you are not your conditions. Getting a grip on the truth that you are not your conditions is good. Let's all say that. I am not my conditions. Let's say it again. I am not my condition. Then who are you? Oh, that was great. I wasn't even expecting that. Wow, you're way ahead of me. That's excellent. So, I am not my conditions. Then who am I? That's what I'm asking the CPR people to do this week, which is, if you're not your conditions, you got to ask every time, then who am I? If the right answer comes forth, which is I am God, the conditions change. They just have to. That's the way this science works. Once you recognize that you are not your conditions, now you can start to recognize who, in fact, you are. First up, let's talk about get a grip, girl. Get a grip. Get a grip. I want to put it back to Psalms, because I believe that this good God, girl, get a grip could really work in the Bible. If only Jesus had said that to Judas. Could you imagine that Last Supper? Judas is up trying to pretend. He's like, good God, girl, get a grip. Just go. I know what's coming. So, first let's talk about get a grip. Okay? That in the Psalms is be still. Get a grip. Be still. Okay? Second one, good. Good God, girl. Good. I got you quiet. Now I want you to know something. Be still and know. So, get a grip. Good. Be still and know. You following me? Okay, third is God, right? God. And then the other part of that would be, of course, girl, you are divine. Be still and know that I am God. Good God, girl. Get a grip. You are God. And anything else just isn't the truth. Because if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love anyone else? So I came here this morning with so much in my heart. I want to be really honest with you. So much in my heart. I pretty much smiled all the way here from in my car. I've just been smiling. Why? Because I have been asking myself almost, I would say like moment by moment by moment, who are you, James? And when I get the answer clear, when I step into the answer clearly, when I live the answer, then I can say that no matter what's going on. And this morning I was told that someone had passed away. And I was like, who are you, James, in this moment? I am God. And so is that person. every single condition of your life has its anecdote, has the healing process, has that thing in it, if you are willing to say, who am I? In every situation, and really live it. If I am God, how can I struggle? I just can't. If I am God, how can I have a problem creating and expressing myself? I just can't. If I am God, how can I find a world that doesn't allow me the opportunity to give what is mine to give? That just can't happen. Good God, girl, get a grip. It makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Get a grip, girl. Good. You are God. And anything else is a lie. Doug, if you would come up here. We have a little ending to this today. Because this psalm, Be Still and Know That I Am God, is a song we use at this center. I think I will never hear it again the same way. Because that psalm is so perfect. Be still and know that I am God. That's my call to action. Good God, get a grip. Get a grip. Be still and know. Good. Know what? That I am. The I am. I am is a complete sentence. And then God. God. So I'm going to invite you to take a deep breath. Close your eyes if that feels good. And just contemplate this truth, because it is your truth. It is your personal truth. And don't let anyone ever tell you it isn't. You are right there in the center of your mind, poised to know the truth. Just be still and know.
Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know.
If you know it, join in.
Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know.
Here's what I know. I know that we came here today in mind, in heart, in soul, in spirit, fully present. And I know that the universal mind, that an infinite intelligence, that divine wisdom within all of us has stepped forth and asked us to please remember that we are one with all that is. And that right in this moment, our divine identity asks us to step into a bigger idea of life, a bigger idea of expression, a bigger idea of prosperity, a bigger idea of love and relationship. Why? Because it's who I am. I am that which thou art. I am is a complete sentence. That's what I know. And I let it be so. I let it be in my life. The active ingredient of all things. And I just let it do what it does perfectly. And so it is.
Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know.
Everybody, let's really raise the roof with this.
Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know.
And anything that could ever possibly come forth that could make you think differently, you have a perfect answer to use in that moment. Good God, girl. Get a grip. Good. Namaste.